He's getting big, but he loves the snow. So he's going to have a blast. Yeah, he's going to have a super fun time.
Right. My name's Rusty Martis, and I'm a retired Air Force Mustang and an OEF veteran. And I want to welcome you to Veterans in Bars, Getting Bourbon. Hope you enjoy the show. Well, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. I have a very special guest with me tonight. It's the Mr. Wonderful is what I like to call you. The man. This is Zachary McGuffey, Guff, who runs and founder of 22 Until Valhalla. Welcome, Guff.
How you doing? Zach McGuffey, United States Marine Corps, Infantry, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom veteran. I got out in 2011 as a E4 corporal.
Awesome. And we're going to delve into more about your service time and also about your foundation and your nonprofit that you run. But before we do, we want to make sure we say hello to the bar. Hello, bar.
Hello.
Hey.
Valhalla.
Valhalla. Cheers, bar. Cheers.
Cheers.
Why don't we show the audience how we end up with these wonderful drinks?
Right on.
Oh, cool. All right. As you know, during this part of the episode, what we like to do is choose a specific bourbon for the particular vet that we're honoring tonight. And our guest tonight is the one and only Zachary McGuffey, the Guff, founder of 22 Until Valhalla, which we'll get into a little bit later. But before we do that, we have to have a drink to sit down and talk. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. All right, so we always want to start with a little bit of ice, right? No, not for you.
Not for me.
No ice. Nope. This particular bourbon I chose for you tonight is the wonderful Maker's Mark. So I chose Maker's Mark. One is because it is America's only handmade bourbon, but it's also got the unique style of the bottle. Of course, the luxury of the drip and wax and everything. It's very unique, smooth, and consistent. And it's a monster, just like you. So we're going to drink this straight up, as in the bourbon world. What do they call that? Neat. We're going to do neat. So I always like to start just pouring it to taste, right? And if you didn't know, you always do a double pour of bourbon because you want to get that mixture going, to get all that flavor and stuff going. So just a taste, just a little. Then you can pour yours, my man. And there ain't no pressure, you know. There's none here. All right. Why don't we go sit down and talk a little bit about it?
Okay.
Thank you. Cheers.
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 All right, welcome back. We're glad you're with us this evening. I'm here again with Guff from 22 Until Valhalla, Marine Corps veteran, and we're going to delve into the 10 questions. So the first question I have for you is, just tell me a little bit how you end up joining the Marine Corps and kind of what brought you to that decision.
I was raised by my grandfather, who's a United States Marine, and he always told me not to join the Marine Corps because it was awful. And as I grew up, I grew to hate authority and hate school and stuff, so I decided to join the Marine Corps. And I was, I wanted to kill terrorists and bring freedom to people that didn't have the freedoms that we did. And obviously, we were in 2 wars, and I felt like it was my duty as an American and as a citizen to give back to my country. And if I was going to do it, I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to do it in the Marine Corps.
What job did you end up doing when you were in the Marine Corps? I know every Marine Corps.
Don't say that.
Okay.
Grunts hate it when people say it. Every Marine's right. We're like, so I was an assaultman. So assaultman is a Marine that is an infantryman that has to have a GT score of 100 or higher. And we have to pass all of our hikes and pass all of our written exams in the infantry school. And then we go assault. And assaultman, we specialize in demolitions, rockets, urban engagement or urban movement, breaching. So by the time I was 19, I'd already been very well demolition trained and rocket engagement trained, and we support the riflemen in blowing holes in buildings and blowing up tanks essentially.
Some of this, I tell you, I worked with every branch of service. If I had to choose one branch to work with day to day, it would be the Marine Corps. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I mean, muscles are required, intelligence not expected,
Okay.
right? So we're definitely, people know, or one of the things that people say about the Marine Corps, especially the infantrymen, is that we're not smart, but we're big dumb jocks or whatever, and I'm neither of those things. But I don't know, man. I think it's just a funny term, like crown eaters, window licker, glue drinker. You know, they always like to make fun of the Marine Corps for being stupid. But you know, I mean, that's what everybody always wants to make fun of the best.
So, you mentioned that you were deployed both to Afghanistan and Iraq, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What time frame was that in?
I went to Iraq. It was really quiet in Iraq when I went. I went in 2009 to Iraq, and I went to the Al Anbar province in Al Qaim, where the helo just went down. Where the Air Force, sorry for your brothers. Yeah, absolutely. But where that helo went down is right outside of where I was staying in Iraq. So I could see 500 meters into Syria. And that's where the first initial ISIS invasion came right across where I was at. But there was nothing happening in 2009 there. And then I was in Afghanistan 2010, 2011 when we lost like the most amount of Americans, the entire war combined, and it was in Helmand. So I was in the Helmand in 2010, 2011.
I was actually in Afghanistan during that same period of time.
Yeah.
So
it was a rough one. We lost 550 Marines in that year.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. I was stationed in Kabul, but I got to travel down to Helmand. To see what was going on down there. It was just crazy. So, just real quick, I think we need to do a cheer for our deployed military, our active duty military, everybody that's out there on the front lines for our safety and our freedom right now. Cheers to you guys.
Cheers. Until Valhalla.
All right, so we were talking about your deployment and the time you spent in the Marine Corps. Is there a particular maybe citation or award that you received while you were in the Marine Corps that kind of just stands out?
I think after I came home from Iraq, I got to go to a lot of really cool schools the Marine Corps sent me to. My favorite school that I went to, kind of like the neatest thing that the Marine Corps ever did for me, was they sent me to Combat Marksmanship Instructor School. So I got my BMOS as a coach, so I got to go.
What's a BMOS?
A BMOS is like a secondary enlist in the Marine Corps, like a secondary military occupational specialty.
Gotcha.
So a second job in the Marine Corps, I got to coach on the range. So you go to school, you go to a division school, so you're being taught by the greatest marksmen in the world how to be better marksmen, and then you get to be taught how to coach the greatest marksman in the world to be better, right? So I'm around Marines, the greatest shots in the world, and I'm teaching them how to be better.
That's awesome.
And then I got asked to shoot on 2nd Battalion 1st Marines shooting team, so my unit's shooting team. I got to shoot on our team in Western Division matches. And I would say other than going to combat with my brothers and leading Marines in combat, that was definitely the coolest thing I got to do, for sure.
That is really cool. So what do you think are kind of the 3 big takeaways you got from your military time?
Well, like I saw some pretty traumatic things in Afghanistan, a lot of like mass casualties with children and civilians and stuff. So that definitely humbles you, especially as a father, because my son was a year and a half old when I went to Afghanistan. But I would say that the 3 biggest takeaways is being around multiple people from multiple cultures and areas of life and stuff, like learning how to just like be around those people, love them, and communicate with them and grow with them. Learning that you don't matter, the guy to the left and the right of you does, and that guy's thinking the same thing. So it's an overlapping leadership and an overlapping care, and that's how we're so successful. And I believe that's why the Marine Corps has the most amount of camaraderie out of all the different branches. And I would say, like, lastly, I met a guy named Matthew Benitez. He's a direct descendant of Geronimo, he's Geronimo's grandson, great grandson. And he's my best friend to this day. He's Mescalero Apache native, and meeting all these different people from different cultures was huge for me because I'm from Independence, Kentucky.
Right.
We're fresh out of diversity, and he told me, he's like, Guff, man, you white people think that you're born with these inherent gifts, and then you have to use this gift to make yourself a better person. He's like, but you got it all wrong. I said, Apache, we believe you're born with these inherent gifts. And you're supposed to find out what your gift is, hone it, and then bring that gift back to the tribe and make the tribe better.
Wow.
And I was like, man.
That's some powerful stuff right there.
For real. And I'm like, dude.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Cheers
I was like.
Cheers.
And I told Benny, because we all call him Benny, I was like, Benny, how cliche is it that you're a native just dropping knowledge on a white boy? But, that was my favorite thing about the Marine Corps, just like hanging out with just multiple different people at all colors, creeds, and ethoses, man. It was definitely a family, especially in the grunts.
The final question from your military time, then we'll jump into some questions about the nonprofit and your foundation that you started. How do you think your military experience kind of affected your life today?
I would say that, I mean, all encompassing, it was definitely positive because it makes you mentally stronger, more, responsible for who you are, the people around you, defend the defenseless, the whole oath, all that. But it was, the experiences I had more definitely negatively affected me for quite some years. But I would say all encompassing, all in all, the Marine Corps has given me a very huge step up in life, and mainly because of the networking and the meeting new people and learning how to be around people. Because once you learn how to communicate on multiple levels with multiple styles of people, that is invaluable to success in the business world, in my opinion. I know you're obviously a huge business guy as well, much more educated in business than I am, but I would say for me personally, being able to communicate on that many lines, I would say.
Absolutely. And the networking is what you hit on is just key to it all. So that was awesome. Thank you so much for your service. Like I said, we're going to take a quick break right now. Before we do, we definitely want to do a cheers to you and your military time, your military service. Cheers.
Super. Cheers.
Cheers. And like I said, we're going to take a quick break. During this next episode, what I'd like to do is just show you some local talent here in Northern Kentucky. And tonight we have the great honor to have the magician, a good friend of mine, Jason the Great. Please enjoy this while we refresh our drinks. Welcome back. We're here with our special guest tonight, Guff from 22 into Valhalla. Thank you again for being here. We're going to jump into the 5 questions about your foundation, your nonprofit. But before we do, we always like to throw a challenge out to our audience. And this episode's challenge is the Great Sock Challenge. So if you have some great socks on, and I don't know if the camera can get my awesome looking socks here. So look at them awesome
Star-spangled socks.
Ain't they cool? So we'll get a picture of all the bar and all their special socks that they wore tonight. But the challenge is for you guys. So what I want you to do is to go to our Facebook page, the Northern Kentucky Military Veteran Coalition, and post your favorite sock pictures. And what we'll do is we're going to take everybody that posts a picture there, we'll put you into a drawing, and we'll do a drawing, and we'll announce the winner of the next episode, and you'll get a prize package from one of our coalition partners. So make sure you get there and post to the North Kentucky Military Veteran Coalition Facebook page. Cool? I know you'll be one of the first ones to put on your...
Absolutely. I need to find some funky socks.
Funky socks. We can probably hook you up. I think there's plenty at the bar. So I can see some funky socks that are out there. Yeah, absolutely. So, but getting into a little bit about your foundation, tell me about what your organization is, what it does, and how it works to support our military, our veterans, and their families.
Yeah, so we are 22 to Valhalla. We are veteran suicide prevention. We are not an awareness campaign, right? So we actually, are out in the community and doing things. So we are here to help promote and facilitate physical, mental, emotional, lifestyle development. So we help veterans. Like, a veteran calls me and, whatever it may be, they're distraught, inept, homeless, upset, or they just need somebody to talk to. They're looking for services in their area. I answer the phone personally, president of the nonprofit, figure out what their needs are, and then I just start networking, right? And depending on what their needs are, we can pay for and facilitate that need. And we believe that holistic healing is going to be a huge step in in the healing of veterans mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. So instead of them becoming like a pill mill from the VA or stuck in transition and some sort of other therapy in the government, we do help pay for veterans to do flotation tank therapy, also known as sensory deprivation tank therapy, jiu-jitsu, any fitness, and what was the other thing we paid for? I can't remember now off the top of my head. Yoga and medical massage.
Okay.
So we help them get into holistic styles of healing. We find that in their area. We'll pay for their first 2 or 3 sessions, depending on how expensive the session is, across the nation, because we're still a small nonprofit. And then once we get them through that program and they start feeling better, and we vet them and make sure they're okay, then we send them on an extreme adventure with our partner group, Veterans Adventure Group. They're also a nationwide veteran nonprofit for veteran suicide prevention. And then myself, my very good friend, who's the president of Veterans Adventure Group, we will get them onto a skydive, a base jump, a cave dive, scuba dive, or a mountain climb. And then there's some other services they're just now providing. Like, I summited Mount Rainier last year with a group of vets. The year before that, we took another group of vets up Rainier, and I did not summit my first year. Justin and I, we got some veterans out skydiving this past September. And then I've facilitated veteran boar hunting in Texas too. So if we can't provide it, we're going to network and get that veteran on that, right? So we believe that veterans need victories outside the Marine Corps, and they need alternative styles of healing that's going to mitigate their veteran ego, which is what jiu-jitsu will do, and powerlifting will do, and yoga will definitely do, because yoga is extremely difficult. And you're in an uncomfortable environment, and you have to learn new things and meet new people. So these are all steps that are helping veterans reintegrate into society, meet new people, meet civilians, meet veterans, and learn new things, and be in the present moment. The future causes anxiety, the past causes depression, the present causes peace, right?
Absolutely.
So that's what we're trying to facilitate with our veterans. And if a veteran does ultimately lose his battle to PTSD, suicide, we are going to get that veteran's children a college scholarship. We have 5 college scholarships out right now because if a child's parent commits suicide, that child is at a 30% higher rate of committing suicide once they reach maturity. So we believe we give them, it's a $1,000 scholarship to any school of higher learning that they choose. It could be beauty school, culinary school, trade school, or college. We're going to give that child a $1,000 college scholarship. It goes into an account that accrues money over time. So we give $1,000. So if they immediately go to college, it'll be $1,000. If they wait a certain amount of years, right, then it'll be a little bit more.
Yeah.
But we believe if we give them an education, at least a leg up, and we show that child that they are not left behind, that they are still a part of the veteran family, and they're provided for by the veteran family, then if we give them that support, then they're going to feel as alone, as isolated, and then they're going to get a little bit of an education at least, or at least a start of an education. So that's what we do. We've been around for 3 years. I tried to commit suicide when I came home, failed, obviously. And then my best friend committed suicide 9 months after my attempt. And he was in Iraq, Afghan with me in 2-1. So after a year of mourning, when I went down to North Carolina and lived in Asheville and built houses with my friend who was killed in Afghanistan, I built houses with his aunt and uncle. They took me in. It was a really, really good situation. Got into CrossFit. I know, guys, don't make fun of me. And I got into CrossFit, yoga, and started hiking to different waterfalls and meditating by different waterfalls in the Appalachian Mountains. And I just started getting real crunchy granola hippie, but I wanted to keep my warrior ethos and also be, a hippie, right? A warrior hippie.
Yeah.
And I believe
especially right after you get out, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. So that's how I've created this journey of being a warrior hippie and trying to bring as many veterans along on my journey as possible.
Absolutely awesome. That is so cool. And I know you mentioned Marine Corps, but it's open up to all veterans.
Every veteran.
It's no matter what they're branching, the Air Force, right?
Yeah.
Except those guys.
Yeah,
right?
man.
Yeah.
No, so Air Force, even Coast Guard, right? Because we're in a time of war, so Coast Guard is a part of the Department of Defense as long as it's a time of war.
Absolutely.
So Coast Guard, United States Marine Corps, Navy, Army, Air Force, all the guard, all the air guard. That's right, Air Force Air Guard. So reserves, anybody that's a vet or active duty, we are going to help facilitate whatever they need. And veterans' children, obviously, we help work with them. I have a lot of veterans, like families, that come talk to me. How can we help? How can we help my family? How can I help my soldier, Marine, Airman, whatever it may be? So we do a lot of talks with the families and help the families kind of get their way through the issues with their family members. And sometimes I have civilians that are just like, hey, Guff, I mean, I know you run this nonprofit. I'm not a vet, but I'm suicidal. How can you help me? Right. I'm not gonna be like, hey, sorry, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So. And you talked about this a little bit earlier, but it helps to bridge that military-civilian divide too, getting everybody together and understanding a little bit about each other and what they're going through.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, the only thing I tell civilians is like, hey, I can't spend my money on you because it's nonprofits' money. We have a mission statement and I have to stick to it because of the IRS. I'm sorry.
Right.
But I will spend my time on you. I'll help you, but we just can't monetary.
And one of the amazing things to me is when you hand out your business card has your personal cell phone on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're reaching directly out to you in that service and that help.
The last thing you want, like my name is my brand, my word is my bond. So the last thing you want is like a certain government agency, you call them and then they push you here and send you there and then you get lost in the sauce, man. Yeah. So if you're coming directly to me, the owner, operator, founder, president, I'm going to get it done. Right. All right. I got 7 board members, female combat vets, male combat vets, male civilians, female civilians, male vets, female vets that have never gone to combat but served their time and did their thing. So we have a very diverse group of bbl on our board, and I can task out and triage the veterans that are wounded, essentially, right? So.
Absolutely. That's so amazing and awesome. And that's one of the reasons that we kind of came into fruition through the Tri-State Veterans Community Alliance, TVCA, is because there's so many nonprofits out there. Veterans get confused and they get lost in that sea of goodwill, right? So having that point of contact, having a central location they get to, and get to the right place. And I don't know what you came across, what you've seen, but what I've noticed is that each veteran is a little bit different. They need a different need. So something that might work for them, like vet art or guitars for vets or karate or jiu-jitsu or whatever it might be, that's great for one person, but not be an overall fit for everybody. So it's finding that perfect need for them to get that healing done and accomplished. And so that's so important. Yeah. So that's awesome. I appreciate it. So if there's an angel donor out there, and hopefully they are, if they wrote you a check for $1 million right now, what could you use that money for in your organization?
We would have, one of my goals is to have every child affected by veteran suicide a college scholarship. That's the first thing I did when I started my nonprofit. Is Robinson, my brother who committed suicide, I got his 2 kids college scholarship immediately. Boom. That was my first goal. So I would get every child a college scholarship. I would get every child an education. And then I would buy land, have a retreat, and I would make sure that veterans have somewhere to go. And I'm a carpenter by trade. I'm still a carpenter. I'm 70% disabled. That's why my nonprofit is 100% nonprofit. I can put money right away because I'm doing fine, man. I work 40, and I got my pension, so I'm good, man. So I would have a freaking wood shop on there, and I'd be teaching vets how to do, woodworking. I'd have a range on there, archery range, shooting range, knife throwing range. I'd have a dojo for jiu-jitsu. I would have a powerlifting gym. I would have an all-encompassing, retreat where families and vets would come, hang out. We'd have therapy and all that stuff. So, I would just give right back to the mission. Right. And I would, just keep doing the damn thing, man, because we all got to work together. We all got to build and weave these nets so less veterans will fall through the cracks, and that's what we're doing here. We're partnered here. We're weaving a net so the net will be tighter so less veterans will fall.
Right, and that's a great, awesome thought process behind that, which I know there's someone out there hopefully watching, and hopefully they can reach out to you. And if they want to reach out to you, or if it's a veteran in need or a family member or even a civilian, how do they do that with your organization? And what's the best way to get in touch?
So on my Instagram page, or you'll look at the top of my page, it says text, email. You can click Instagram, click text, and you'll get right to my cell phone. I mean, you can do that on Facebook. Facebook is email, text, call. You can call me directly off Facebook. It'll come to my phone in my pocket. I don't have 2 phones. I only got 1 cell phone. We're a small nonprofit. Right. But so I got 1 cell phone that pay for myself, and Instagram, website 22uv.org, 22uv.org. My Facebook, my Instagram, email. You can write me a letter. I just wrote a couple of families letters the other day.
Awesome.
So every now and then, if we have a veteran that commits suicide and they don't have children, if they're having issues with the burials, because a lot of veterans' families don't know that the VA has to pay for the burial if they've been diagnosed with PTSD or depression. That's a service-related death.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times the VA gives them a hard time. So sometimes we give some money out, and I just had to do that for a family. Give some money out to help them get their burial costs and everything done, and get the 21 gun salute. So contact me anyway, or I can contact. And I also do a lot of contacting families. If I hear something and they don't contact me, I'll reach out. I'm like, hey, are you okay? So it'll be a two-way street. But yeah, contact me anytime, 24/7. Phone's always on. I'm typically awake.
Yeah, that's so cool. Now, who else have you come across in what you've been doing that I absolutely need to get on this show and showcase it to our Northern Kentucky folks here that are either military veterans or even family members that need to know about their foundation or nonprofit? Who else should I get on the show?
Barracks Project is running the veteran homelessness prevention.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Felicia for sure would be on there. I mean, Veterans Adventure Group's huge, but they're based out of Nashville. But we're trying to open like a Kentucky chapter, so I'd be helping facilitate that. They're doing a freaking amazing job. But right now, I don't know. Oh, do you know Gunny Bailey?
Mm-mm.
Gunny Brandon Bailey.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So look up Gunny Bailey. He runs Purple Hearts for Heroes.
Okay.
He's a MARSOC guy. So he's a Special Operations MARSOC. He was a gunny in the Marine Corps Special Operations community. Purple Heart, all that jazz. He was pronounced dead, but he's, obviously not dead. So
Right.
He has an amazing story. He does great work for children, for vets. He takes them on hunts. He'll take like the family and the child. If the child is disabled, he has the tracked wheelchair.
Oh yeah.
It'll take them out right into whatever hunting field they're going on. They're all around. They do hunts all around the nation,
Wow.
but they're based out of Boone County.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I would say Gunny Brandon Bailey. He hates being called Gunny, so I have to call him Gunny. And it's like it's a Marine Corps thing. I'm like,
Right.
I can't not.
I cannot call him Gunny. That would be death for me. But yeah.
No, but yeah, Gunny Brandon Bailey,
Right.
real swell guy. And then Felicia with the Barracks Project.
Right, very cool. Really, just the last question is there anything else that we haven't covered that you need to get out to the general public?
I would say mental health is a real thing, and it needs to be talked about. It needs to be communicated. It's not a stigma. You're not broken. Veterans are not broken. We are going to absolutely positively affect this country, and we have been. If you look at the statistics, veteran entrepreneurship accounted for like 10 million jobs in 2016, according to the Small Business Bureau.
Mm-hmm.
And we have created, it was like 9 out of 10 entrepreneurs in 2016 was veterans. So we are super successful. So
Absolutely.
So we got to end that stigma.
Absolutely.
For sure. And if it's a mental health problem, we have to talk about it. We have to communicate, because that's how healing starts.
Well, there's definitely cheers to you.
Cheers.
Cheers. I
Absolutely.
appreciate you coming in tonight and sharing not only your story, your military service, but every wonderful things you're doing for 22 to Valhalla. I didn't mention this earlier, and I feel bad about it, but this is also Independence 2017 Veteran of the Year.
Thanks
so
to you.
Congrats to that. Congrats to that. And every episode, we also want to just highlight a pet that may need rescued as well. One of our coalition partners, as part of the Northern Kentucky Military Veteran Coalition, is the Animal Sanctuary. And we got a short video clip on that. So please enjoy this, and we'll be right back to say our goodbyes.
You just chew on them.
Red Brew.
What we want to do with every show, of course, we chose the Maker's Mark bourbon for you because of its uniqueness, its strength, and we want to make sure that you sign that.
Okay.
And so I can put that proudly on the bar. As you're doing that, I want to thank Operation Honor for providing this awesome barrel. It's still got some liquid in it, and I don't know if you knew this, I don't know if the bar knew this, but every barrel will always have 4% liquid inside of its of the contents of the barrel when it's left on. And of course, they used part of this barrel to make this awesome flag that's here as well. You can see all this at operationhonor.org. I just want to thank you once again for being here. I want to thank you for tuning in. Please check us out at the www.tristatevca, that's VictorCharlieAlpha.org. Look us up on the Facebook page. We have two, the TVCA page, the Tri-State Veterans Community Alliance, and also the North Kentucky Military Veteran Coalition. If you'd like to be a partner of the coalition, or if you just want to learn more about what we do in the greater Cincinnati and, of course, North Kentucky area, please check out our Facebook page, check out our website, give us a call at 1-844-600-TVCA. That's 844-600-TVCA. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thanks to the bar. We greatly appreciate it. Cheers, everyone. Cheers.